Yo, what's up, my people? Listen, I apologize. I missed question of the week for last week because I actually created a 2D cartoon video for my song Comeback Love, and it took more time than I thought it would. But it actually turned out well. If you have time after this, check it out, man. Let me know what you think. It's the first time I've done a 2D cartoon music video, but it was dope, man. So if you guys like it, I'll probably do it again. So the question of the week this week was actually brought to my attention, or was submitted to me by my cousin. I was having a conversation with my cousin, and she said you should do a question of the week, and the question is this: how do you know that you have truly surrendered to God? How do you know you have truly surrendered to God? Which I think is a really, really good question. And it speaks to something that we all will have to do, because no matter how big you are, strong you are, rich you are, or smart you are, the world is bigger than you, and you're going to have to submit somewhere. Somewhere you're going to have to say, you know what, I'm not big enough, or smart enough, or strong enough, or something enough for whatever you have to go against, because we are finite in somewhere. Like most of the places, we're pretty much finite everywhere. We are, as smart as we are, we have finite knowledge. As strong as I think I am, I can't pick up everything, so we're going to lack somewhere. So typically life makes you surrender in that way. And for me, my case, practical application, I have to do that because I know my limitations, but I know who I am if I keep my hand in God's hand. So I think one of the best things you could do is know your limitations. Once you know your limitations, you know what you can do before you even start it. And most of the time, the way that God operates is He'll have you in spaces that you are very uncomfortable with, but He'll have you functioning in these circumstances and these different climates, and you're like, how am I operating in this situation? I know my limitations, but that's what God works on. That's where His strength lies. His strength works better in your weakness. So yeah, man, but let's get to the definition of what surrendering is. So the Webster's Dictionary definition for surrender is this: to cease resistance to an enemy or an opponent and submit to their authority. Seems to me that we are too quick to submit to the devil and not to submit to God. That's a whole nother message. Maybe I'm just speaking for myself, but let me run it back again. It says to cease resistance to an enemy or an opponent and submit to their authority. God is not your enemy. He's an enemy to your flesh, yes. So yeah, man. So I thought that question was really, really dope. And how do you submit? How do you know that you have totally submitted to God? And for me, myself, I feel like life has to put you in a situation to show you that you have to submit. Because if you keep trying it the same way, that's insanity, right? Like if you're not getting anywhere, but you keep trying it the same way over and over again, that's insanity. So I think that's one of the things. I think life has to put you in a place that is bigger than who you are. And it's quite apparent that wherever you are, or whatever life is asking of you, is way bigger than who you are, so you need help. So that for me, that's what submitting is to me. Like you kind of have to do it. It's surrender means to willingly yield control of your life, desires, and plans to God's will and guidance. That's not saying that you have to forget your plans. It's not what it's saying. It's saying that your plans have to be guided by God. It doesn't say forget your plans. It says that it doesn't mean that you have to forget your plans. It means that you have to submit them to God. Submit them to God. Giving up control. If you are a control freak, this will be a big problem for you, because you're going to want to keep reaching and keep touching. But even if you reach and touch, the only thing you're going to do is get your hand smacked, or the weight is going to be too much for your hand. Got to pull back, and let God do what He's going to do. Let Him do what He's going to do. I think one of the ways that you know that you have fully surrendered, and I don't know if we ever fully surrender, but if you're on the plus side of surrendering, is when your vocabulary changes and your mindset. Your vocabulary and your mindset. You start to say things like, not my will, but your will be done. You start to do things like, well, God, I'll step out into this because I know you are with me. When you start speaking like that, because that speaks to you knowing your limitations. You have to know your limitations. If you know your limitations, if you don't know your limitations, then the world will show you how limited you are. But if your hand is in God's hand, you have no limits, none. If it's aligned with His will, what you're trying to do, whatever His will is, if it's aligned, like whatever you're trying to do, if it's aligned with His will, you will succeed. No word that comes from the Lord's mouth will come back empty. So if He speaks a word saying, hey, this is what my daughter's going to do, this is what my son is going to do, then you will do it. But you have to be aligned with His will, His good will, His loving will. That's what you have to do. So for me, that's how I think about it, man. That's just off the top of the dome. I think that you start to speak differently and you start to move differently. Not my will, your will be done. And Lord, if you will it, it will be. No matter what it looks like. That's how you know you have fully surrendered to God. Because if you don't fully surrender to God, life is going to show you that you have to fully surrender to God. Because I'm going to always keep saying this, like, we are finite in everything that we do. We have limitations on everything. That doesn't make you weak. That doesn't make you weak. That just makes you need your Father, who is all powerful, all knowing, and everywhere. And the thing about it is, when He shows you your weaknesses, that's only to get you stronger in whatever you're trying to do. Anytime you see a weakness, it's to make you stronger, so He can build you in that area. Because whatever He does, whenever He builds you in this area, He's building you for the future. So whatever you are weak in, you're going to need Him to build this part of you so that you can walk into whatever is next. Whether that's a new job, whether that's a new relationship, no matter what it is, like God is trying to, because life is about walking and progressing into whatever it is. So yeah, man. So listen, keep your hand in God's hand. Know your limitations. But just because you are limited in an area doesn't mean that you're weak. It just means that you know your limitations. Got to know your limitations so you can build them. And that's how you know you are totally surrendered out to God. Let me give you a practical application in my life about not fully surrendering, but not fully surrendering. So, you guys probably don't know, but I'm an IT person now. I'm a firewall engineer for the state. When I first lost my job, I used to work for Nestle. I lost my job, was fired, and I was without a job for a normal job for 3 years, 6 months, and 9 days. During that time, I wanted to get into IT, right? So I was taking classes and doing stuff like that, pretty much trying to figure out like how can I get to where I want to be. So my will was IT. God's will was IT also, but let me show you the difference between fully surrendering and surrendering somewhat. To make a long story short, I took all these different classes, right, that I paid for. I paid for a few of my classes, and some of them were free. Well, the ones that I paid for, I'm not in that discipline in my job where I am now. And when I first got with the state, I'm not in that discipline. The certifications that I paid for, that I took the classes for, meant nothing. They did nothing for me. The ones that I didn't have to pay for, the ones that God gave me, when I'm just walking into a building, when I'm walking into these different places trying to find employment, and they're giving out free state classes where you can grow and get a certification in them, that's the certifications that matter to me now, that help me get my job. And now I'm getting more certifications in the discipline where I am now. I'm a firewall engineer, so I do network security. All the certifications that I have, or that mean anything, were free. I didn't have to pay for any of them. $3,000 certifications, you have to take these things. God provided them for free. You know why he did that? He wants to show me, man. God wants to show me, he wants to show you that all we need is him. Bro, all the certifications that I paid for, I have a certification, a DBA, database administrator. My goodness, I can't even remember it now, cause I don't even use it. But the certifications that I paid for, God didn't use. The ones that he provided, I use all the time. That's where I am now. Like, I'm not gonna tell you guys how much I make now, but I pretty much jumped up 50,000 within like the last 2 years, just jumping up, man. That's what God has me. And the only thing he wants from me is for me to acknowledge who he is in my life. So that's why I had to surrender. So that's how you know that you're fully surrendered out to God's will. When you say, you know what, Lord, I'm going to function in this space. I'm not even going to know how I'm functioning in this space. The only thing that I know is that I'm with you and you put me here. That's how you know you surrendered. You changed, man. Like, that's the practical application for me. Even when I surrendered, I thought I surrendered out totally. I still didn't, because I was still trying to put my hand into things that God didn't want me to put my hand into. He had me where he wanted me to be, but he wanted to show me that he is in control. So I guess, man, surrendering is relenting your control in these different situations. That's what it is. That's how you know. Either do it or life is going to show you that you have to do it. I'd rather walk over there and do it than a whirlwind blow me over there. You know, I'm just going to walk into God's surrender. I don't want to get blown into it. Not saying that won't happen. Just saying what I would rather have. I'd rather just God walk me, guide me there, than for some tornado to blow me there, over there, and then I'm reaching up for God. He's going to be there in both situations. He's going to be there in both situations. But I'd much rather walk over there. So yeah, man, cuz I thank you for submitting this question that made me think. And I hope it's a blessing to you, and I hope it's a blessing to everybody else. And man, submit a question, man, and we can talk about it. And look, that video, make sure you check it out. I get with y'all, man.
I'm from the era of penny candy and arcade games. When we went outside, that mean we were gone all day. Be back before the street lights come on. Big bro was a player, wore cool water cologne. The other one wore Russell sweats, used to